Hey man, the NFL season kicks off tonight. We got the Cowboys versus Steelers in the first preseason game of the season. So, might as well tell y'all who I think my dark horse to come out the NFC is. I'm gonna do an AFC video next. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know. This one's for the NFC. You see the jersey, we gotta go ahead and kick it off. Get ready for fall season. It's finna go. Hey, but first, before we get into the video, y'all remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Keep sharing. Yeah, we got daily football, basketball content coming up. But without further ado, roll the intro.
Heinrich with defense. Lead pass.
All right, so let me start off by saying, yes, this is a dark horse. I think my front runners to come out of the NFC is still the Bucks. They have all 22 starters returning, as well as Tom Brady, as well as coming off a Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's really hard to beat that. We see it in other levels of sports all the time, especially now that they have everybody coming back. I mean, I don't really know what you do with that. Actually, my Super Bowl prediction is a rematch with the Chiefs versus the Bucks. I think they're gonna go back. I do think if they do go back, the Chiefs will win, but that's for another video. But I'm also gonna talk about my AFC dark horse tomorrow. But yeah, so my NFC dark horse is the Arizona Cardinals. I know. They had somewhat of a rough season, but they did show a lot of flashes. They showed flashes of what could be in the future, as well as what could go wrong. But we're not gonna talk about that right now. We're gonna talk about what could go right. And going right is a trip to the Super Bowl. First thing I do want to bring up is the NFC West is a very, very tough division. Got the 49ers coming back healthy. And their whole quarterback situation with Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, they don't really know what's going on. We got Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. You know how that goes. They come out firing all cylinders early in the season and then tend to fall off. But still a very good team, as well as it being a division matchup, so they always play each other better. And the Rams, who I think have the best defense in the league right now. It's just hard to deal with that. But the Cardinals have made some offseason pickups that I think could sway it more in their favor, especially against better defenses such as the Rams. When they went and got J.J. Watt, great pickup off the edge, as well as A.J. Green to take some of the load off of Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, because later in the season, when the defense realized, oh wait, the Cardinals can't really throw it to anybody else other than D-Hop when it comes to late game situations, they started kind of focusing more on him. And as great as a player he is, like we saw the Hail Mary at the end of that Bills game, he can't do it all. And these are professionals. He has people guarding him. But they did lose a big part of their secondary with Pat Pete, who's been there for years, one of my favorite cornerbacks. Pat Pete moved on to the Vikings, they're building a team out there too. They were able to sign Malcolm Butler, who's really faded since his time with the Patriots, but still a pretty decent corner. He's not too bad. I mean, he'll get the job done. But some good developments in Budda Baker. He had a breakout season last year. I watched a couple Cardinal games myself. I believe he might be the highest paid safety now. All right, so I stand corrected. Budda Baker's on a 4-year, $59 million deal, while Justin Simmons for the Broncos, and he's the highest paid safety, 61 for 4 years. But that's not really what we're talking about today. But yeah, on the defensive side of the ball, Budda Baker having a breakout season, as well as I think a big X factor who he played a little bit last year, but I hope to see him playing more, is Isaiah Simmons. And if you watch college football and if you watch him at Clemson, this dude can play anywhere on the field. He lines up anywhere. He's a baller. And I really think he's what the Cardinals could use. Maybe as like, a lot of teams call it like a dog position, but it's kind of like like an extra linebacker type or strong safety kind of guy, but he'll definitely be out there. I wouldn't necessarily like consider a nickel because he'll still be in the safety position, but he can play anywhere. He can get out there in a slot. He's physical enough to, if you got to put him on a tight end, you can. But he also has the speed where if he needs to get a receiver, he can do it. He can track down the ball. So I think he pairs very well with Buda Baker. And I think we're gonna see their defense maybe take a couple of steps up, maybe a little stagnant when it first begins, because they lost Pat Pete. We don't really know how they're gonna look until it happens. But another big development is Kyler Murray is going into his 3rd season. And like I said earlier in the video, we saw flashes of what Kyler Murray can do. Like I said, the Bills game, and we know what he can do running wise. We know he can create. We know he can extend plays with his legs as well. If he has to, he'll get out the pocket and scramble for some yards. And with him playing baseball all his life, his sliding is beautiful. So he knows how to protect himself, which tends to be a big problem in a lot of mobile quarterbacks. They don't really protect themselves. We saw with Mike Vick, Lamar Jackson when he first came out, younger Cam Newton. It was kind of okay with Cam because he was bigger, but Josh Allen doesn't really slide. Like we see it all the time, but Kyler Murray, he's pretty good at protecting himself. Their schedule isn't too difficult. It's about mid-tier. Their problem is really going to lie in their division. Like I said earlier, they have a very tough division that they're playing in, so that's where most of the competition is going to be. But I do believe if they win out that division, then they're going to be a problem, especially in the playoffs. And I think the only team that could beat them if they were to win out the division, go to the playoffs, would be the Bucks, because they got that chemistry, and I do have them as my front runners. But with all of that being said, my record prediction is probably going to be 13-4. I know it's a little optimistic, maybe a little high, but I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give them 13-4, and we may just see them in the Super Bowl. Who knows? Who knows? But that is all. Thank you for watching the video. Like I said, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Continue to share out the channel, and I'm going to keep pushing out daily football and basketball content.